in the squadron. They called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Are you ready for Juneteenth? It is, I don't know when it is. It's tomorrow, right? Juneteenth. Federal holiday. But nobody really gets the day off, except Wall Street, except schools, except banks, except, the federal government, another day off, but real jobs, you don't get off. And, I probably don't really deserve a day off when nobody can actually define what the hell Juneteenth is. Is it the day we freed the slaves? No, it has something to do with slavery, but nobody really knows what the hell it is. Why is it a holiday? Why is tomorrow Juneteenth a holiday? Do you know? Well, during COVID, we shut everything down because Fauci and, they wanted to break the country. They'd rather break the country than get Trump reelected, right? You kind of put him in a box. There was no way that Trump was going to be able to keep the country open, given what was going on and what people were saying. I mean, my goodness gracious, they would have impeached him 5 times. He really had no option. It seemed like the thing to do. And Fauci, we didn't know how corrupt and stupid he was. So he closed the country, right? We all did that. But he was, anxious. Hey, we got to get it going again. Come on, we got to go. We got to go. We got to get back to work. And one of the things he wanted to do was get back on the campaign trail. Another fringe benefit of COVID for the Democrats. Joe Biden doesn't have to go anywhere because when he goes places, he humiliates himself, right? So he could stay in the basement. And they thought they could keep Trump on a short leash. He can't go anywhere. He can't campaign. That was part of the whole COVID stuff. Well, finally, he said, I've had enough of this crap. I'm going out to Oklahoma and we're having a rally. And the date of the rally happened to be June 19th. And that didn't make any difference to anybody until somebody said, aha, we can make June 19th. June 19th. That's Juneteenth. The Democrat in the room was like, and what does that mean? We can say he's a racist for having it on June 19th. Juneteenth. You understand? Oh, I get it. Yeah. Trump's a racist. Sure. Yeah. I get it. We say he's very insensitive for having it on Juneteenth. And there was a chorus. How dare he have it on Juneteenth? How dare he have it on Juneteenth? And, the whole world screaming and yelling about it. And of course, it was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where something bad happened about 150 years ago that we're supposed to all remember. And oh my God, I can't believe this happened. I never heard about it. I guess there was a big massacre in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I didn't hear about it until Trump decided to run for president, right? It was running for re-election. They took up all these kind of fringe, outside, not mainstream moments in black history and try to make them the biggest thing that ever happened. And you have to show respect for the Tulsa massacre. You have to show respect for Juneteenth. What were those things about? Nobody knows. Nobody cares. But it hurt Trump. It hurt Trump. He had to cancel that first rally. And then the next rally, they were able to sabotage. You may remember it wasn't well attended. Democrats bought all kinds of tickets. And then there was that picture of Trump coming home at the White House. He looked exhausted. His tie was undone, getting off the helicopter. The Democrats wanted us to be appalled by that picture. Like, oh my gosh, look at that. That is defeat. No, that's what hard work looks like. That's the road to victory. Obama was worried about being elegant and smooth all the time. The most of us are not. Most people are not elegant and smooth. And we really don't care too much about that stuff. Sure, if we could, that would be great. But we can't. All right? It takes, quite frankly, too much work to be elegant and smooth. You got too much work into appearances. And that's not what America's about. You compare the ordinary American man to the ordinary European man, right? Who's got their act together? Well, up until recently, I guess that's a toss-up now. But traditionally, historically, America was where it's at. And our men, we couldn't be bothered with wearing a cravat, right? We were just kind of focused on providing and creating and doing and getting to the moon and kicking ass as a country, as a culture. The Europeans, they had a bit more bandwidth to screw around with that kind of stuff. They were all about, it's one of the reasons why they swooned over Obama. Anyway, the June 19th celebration is tomorrow. I don't know what the hell they have in store. It's really funny watching fake news celebrate Juneteenth that they don't understand. Every now and then they'll run a package. They'll run a little news report that some guy made with all kinds of black and white photography. Nobody pays attention. So nobody really knows. It was always kind of a fringe thing. And now it is a national holiday, a national, you take off, I take off, everybody takes off, except if you have a real job, right? The federal government takes off. Hey, you know what this does to the military? Screws them all up. Because in the federal government, it's not, who's going to take a day off in the middle of the week? Well, you make it, the whole week is a blow-off week. It's just another step backwards for America. And I have proof, by the way, that Democrats did not give a damn about Juneteenth until Trump showed up and they could use it as an issue. On Juneteenth in 2019, I've got tape. I'm turning it around. Joe Biden was running for president. He forgot to say anything about Juneteenth on that day. He didn't say anything about it. You know what he did say? How much he loved working with racist senators like Strom Thurmond. Yeah, Strom and I really got together. We really worked well together. Wow, he's a racist. The guy would have owned slaves if he could have. He was the worst. I mean, that was not that long ago. And you're friends with the guy speaking at his funeral. Anyway, that's what he was doing instead of talking about Juneteenth. And the Obama, he's cracking jokes all over the world when it came to Juneteenth. By the way, $1,000 for the first caller who can tell me what the hell Juneteenth is. Cut 14, please. Cut 14.
As I've said, Angela and I don't exactly look like previous German and American leaders.
Cracking jokes on Juneteenth? How dare Barack Obama in 2013? All right, so he's president in 2009. This is his first Juneteenth as president. What do they have to say about Juneteenth then? It's a big deal, right? It's a black something or other, right? Cut 15.
I want to express my appreciation for the opportunity to tell jokes that weren't funny enough for me to use when we did this 5 weeks ago. Whatever.
Whatever. So funny, I don't understand what the hell the joke was, actually. But it was Obama, he could just crack a smile and the fake news swooned. That was a room full of journalists, and everything he did was cool because he was kind of cool and smooth. But he never broke a sweat for anybody else. Not even to celebrate Juneteenth. Not even to have a national conversation about what the hell Juneteenth actually is. Cut 60. This is 2015. All right. He is safely into his second term. Can he go there? Is he comfortable enough yet? Does he trust us enough yet to talk about Juneteenth? Cut 16.
At the White House, he had the old Bulls theme song, and it set a very high bar, as if I was Michael Jordan coming out.
So, yeah. And by the way, I know it's just a little soundbite from each of those days. He never said a damn thing about Juneteenth. Never said anything about Juneteenth. Now it's the most important thing ever, right? We're all taking the day off tomorrow. Why? Because they thought they could use it to embarrass Trump. Now they didn't. It didn't work. But now we have it. And you know what? I'm sorry, but I don't know if we need, in the middle of a long, hot summer, potentially, another holiday with vague significance at best, and everybody encouraged to take the day off. What do you do on the day off? What do you do in cities on days off, right? What do the folks tend to do? You party a little bit, right? You party. You don't know why you're partying. Drugs are everywhere, right? Guns are everywhere. Although I know the FBI is trying to tell me crime is at a record low. Don't you understand? Crime is at a record low. Crime is at a record low. Number one, we no, that is a lie. That is a total lie. And you bureaucrats down there in the Federal Bureaucrats Incorporated, the FBI, you did it to hook up Joe Biden. I know you did. I explained it all last night in a video. So, you guys are busted. I know this, what are we going to call the migrants? We can't call them migrants. It's too benign. Migrants. I think of the migrants who came over from, remember that land bridge between Alaska and Siberia. They migrated. I think Eskimos did that. And then the land bridge went away. What do we call them? I think illegal aliens, lawbreakers, must go home immediately people. I don't know. And this is not racist. It's not ethnocentric. It is America-centric. America. And America is a great big, well, it's supposed to be a melting pot. Hey, you never hear that anymore, do you? You never hear melting pot. What do you do when you have a melting pot? You throw a bunch of stuff in there and then it becomes one. A melting pot, like when you go to fondue. You put some cheddar cheese in there, you put Swiss cheese, you put salami in there, whatever you want, and then you heat it, and then you stir it, and it's one thing. We don't have that anymore. We have a bunch of different, identities, AOC, thee, they, thou, zid, zed, all those weirdo pronouns. And this is, and this fixation on race, this obsession with race. And why is it? It's not because Democrats or Joe Biden care about black people. No, it's to exploit and it's to fire up. And as the great Candace Owens once said, that's what Democrats do every election year, serve up fear and serve up hate. And the stuff I saw on CNN last night, people saying horrible things about white people. Just horrible, awful things. Nobody should be judged on things they can't control. You can't control your race. You can't control that stuff. But to call people out on it, it's not America, baby. It's just not America. But you know what is? This doctor in Houston. Man, oh man, oh man. You heard about this guy? Dr. Haim? What a hero. What a damned hero this guy is. Now, he's working in that Texas Children's Hospital, and they're cutting off boys' penises, and they're creating new penises for little girls, and surgically attaching them to they're sex reassignment surgery for children. And he knew that's awful. It's a violation of this, that, and the other thing, the Hippocratic Oath, to be sure. No doctor should be doing that to a kid. And he told the cops, essentially. He told the authorities. Now he's in trouble. He's in trouble. Why? Because he violated, what do they say? HIPAA. HIPAA isn't even a criminal statute, by the way. It's a regulation for insurance companies, all right? It's not. And the U.S. attorney, the damned U.S. attorney getting involved in there. What does that mean? That means the Justice Department. That means Barack Obama. That means Joe Biden getting involved in this. Oh, was that lady great? Or what? That lady I had on the Whitey Bulger case. I'm really worried about why the hell we haven't heard from the jurors. And you should be too. I have doubts that they were legitimate jurors. I'm talking about the jurors who convicted, quote unquote, convicted Trump. I was thinking, do we think that they actually were going to just give it to regular people to make that decision? They're going to move Colangelo from DOJ here. They're going to investigate Trump for years and years and years and come up with this crazy set of charges. Were they just going to give it to 12 random New Yorkers? No way. No way. And, I was sitting in there, and you know what? They kind of looked like, well, what is it? Crisis actors? What is it? Stand-ins? What is it? But I don't think they were real. I just would like to have a talk with them, okay? That's okay. Here's the aftermath of the Whitey Bulger, the big mobster, the big bad mobster. He gets convicted by this jury. They send him away for all those murders he convicted. Why were these jurors not afraid to speak? Well, they weren't, and they did. Cut 23.
When we went in there, it was nothing what I thought it was going to be. It was more or less, we didn't know what was going on. It was very, very overwhelming. With 12 different people, there's 12 different opinions of what should be going on.
I made my decision, and I'm not going to feel guilty about it. I think that he was convicted of enough things that there's not. I'm not out to go after somebody for no reason whatsoever.
And it really did disturb us. As the verdict was being read out, many of us, the men, the women, we talked about it after, were literally shaking, tears.
I just love it. I just love it. Not afraid to speak. This is America. The jurors, they are totally free to speak out. You know why they're not? Because they've been told not to. Because they want to create this whole fake news narrative that they got something to be afraid of because of MAGA, right? Oh, January 6th. No. We can have this conversation. Why are they afraid to? I'm not even talking about the jurors. I'm talking about the Judge Merchan, that crummy daughter of his, and all the checks that are coming in, the money. The corruption is everywhere. And are we just going to sit around and take it? Well, what can we do? We can vote our asses off, right? And we can be vigilant. We can give money. We can pick up that phone. And please give me some more ideas, because there's got to be more we can do to save this country. And leave Steve Bannon alone. Thank you very much. More on Steve when we come back.
Greg Kelly
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This is Greg Kelly for Priority Gold. What does it mean to be America's precious metals dealer? It means that you're in touch with the hearts and minds of those who love this country, value our freedom, and want to protect the future. Priority Gold is that precious metals dealer. They've helped thousands of Americans back their retirement with solid gold and silver. Call Priority Gold at 888-506-6439. Receive free shipping, free storage, a free investment guide, and one of the best purchase experiences in the industry. Call now or go to PriorityGold.com.
Long Island is more exciting than ever at Jake's 58 Casino Hotel. Get ready to zoom into some serious cash with Zoom Ball every Wednesday in June. Win up to $500,000. 1 point equals 1 entry. 2 lucky winners will be drawn at the top of every hour from 1 to 5 p.m. to play Zoom Ball. Discover the excitement at Jake's 58 Casino Hotel.
If gambling is a problem for you or someone, please call the 24-hour toll-free helpline at 877-8-HOPE-NY or text NY.
Hey, it's Joe Piscopo. When you're looking for concrete materials for your next construction project, call Diamondback Ready Mix on Staten Island. This family-owned and operated business is the go-to supplier for concrete materials in New York, New Jersey, and the surrounding tri-state areas. My friends and experts from Diamondback Ready Mix are experts and fully licensed and insured in New York and in New Jersey to deliver ready-mix concrete to your job site. Give them a call today for more information at 718-650-5649, 718-650-5649.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey, when we see Joe Biden zoning out and being weird on stage or forgetting where he is or muttering something that makes absolutely no sense, it's not really Joe's fault. It's conservative media. They're not providing sufficient context for what's happening. And therefore, we are leaping to conclusions that Joe just might be a vegetable. They're actually saying this. They're actually saying this out loud. They're pushing this. If only they provided more context and what happened next and the fuller picture. Don't believe your eyes, right? Number one, look, the news always takes things out of context. All right. Context, whatever. I mean, that is like the pot calling the pot a pot. All right. Being worried about that stuff. Context. They're always trying to make people worried and light a fire, and they've always done that. It's one of the things I can't stand about media. One of the things I've specialized in doing, quite frankly, providing more context, both historical and in the moment, what is actually happening, what it really means. And I'll provide context to this. When Joe Biden was all zoning out and walking away from the world leaders at that parachute jump. Well, they're trying to tell us that, well, he was actually going to another parachuter and he wanted to greet that parachuter. And the fake news and the conservative media, they say, didn't show that. Number one, we actually did. You could figure it out. He was reacting to something. He was reacting, and I figured it was another parachuter because you could see another parachuter off in the distance. I never thought that Joe was like imagining something was there that wasn't. Then again, that said, it's the G7 meeting, right? The G7, the group of 7 meeting, right? So you got these Western powers, right? Big economic, right? They meet as a group, and the group, they were doing one thing. They were all looking at the parachuter right in front of them. Joe decided to walk away from the group to go talk to some other parachuter. And everybody looked and it's like, why is Joe leaving the group? Group of 7, G7. He left the group. It was news.
Greg Kelly
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
All right, so this is taking off now. The White House insists that the edited video, we're editing it, we're distorting it to make Joe look bad. No, you don't have to do that. I can tell when that's being done. It's not being done. I just told you he walked away from the groove. Now, the most incompetent man, actually, she's very emblematic of the left, though. From the lies to the silliness, Karine Jean-Pierre happens to come from Hempstead, Long Island. I'm so glad she didn't graduate from Hempstead High School. She went to some other school. I like Hempstead High School. Had some friends there. Governor Patterson went to Hempstead High School. I always thought it was really cool with that. I don't know. The architecture of that building is very interesting, very intriguing to me. She went somewhere else, but she's from Hempstead. And here's my buddy James Rosen. He's at the White House asking her a question about this stuff. Like, how can you say this? Because we can all see that Joe is in decline. Go ahead, please, with that.
Majorities of American voters who are telling pollsters repeatedly for years now that they have serious concerns about this president's cognitive fitness are being misled by cheap fake videos?
I'm saying that there have been, in recent weeks, there have been cheap fakes videos that have been fact-checked. They've been fact-checked.
Fact-checked?
By conservative media as well, to say that these videos are false. They're purposefully being altered.
So he's
that
fine.
is,
So he's
that
fine.
is, look,
He's fine.
the president has done more in his 3.5 years as president than most modern day president. And what he's been able to deliver. He's able to do that because he knows what he's doing. He knows how to deliver for the American people.
He doesn't know how to walk across the stage.
Rash of videos that have been edited to make the president appear especially frail or mentally confused. I'm wondering if the White House is especially worried about the fact that this appears to be a pattern that we're seeing more often.
Yeah, and I think you all have called this the cheap fakes video, and that's exactly what they are. They are cheap fakes video. They are done in bad faith, and some of your news organization have been very clear, have stressed that these the right wing critics of the president have a credibility problem because of the fact checkers have repeatedly caught them pushing misinformation, disinformation, and so we see this, and this is something coming from your part of the world,
like
calling
the
them
Hunter
cheap
Biden
fakes and
laptop,
misinformation.
huh, baby? Stop. Wow. They're just going to label it disinformation, misinformation, stuff that they don't like. That is good. How about this one? Joe Biden was literally, I mean, gibberish. It sounded, it was in the White House yesterday. He didn't like what they were saying. And he actually just like a baby doing his, let me see if I can get this for you. It really is wild. He's sitting there with the head of NATO, some guy named Jens Stoltenberg. And he starts like, I think he's trying to make fun of the reporters. You're not supposed to do that as president, especially when you are all about returning everyone to normalcy and all that stuff. All right. As we get that ready, how many drag queens do you know? I actually know RuPaul, and that's it. RuPaul. That's the only drag queen in the world that I could name. Now, if you're running for public office and you're a Democrat, you better know more than that. You got to be able to whip out a whole bunch. I could see if you're running for the mayor of San Francisco, a little gotcha question for a candidate. Okay, what's the starting lineup for the San Francisco Giants? That's the kind of thing a politician who wants to be popular should probably know. But in San Francisco, no, it's about the drag queens and how many gay people do you know? Because there's this dude who has the audacity to run for mayor as a straight white man. And, that's not stylish these days. Isn't it amazing? San Francisco, the same city that gave us Dirty Harry Callahan. This is a scene from the mayoral debate. Cut 17, please.
I'd like to ask Mark a question. You were at the Harvey Milk LGBT Democratic Club and couldn't name any LGBT advisors to your campaign. You were at the debate last week and couldn't name any drag queens on your own. I was wondering if you this is an opportunity to redeem yourself. And if you could name 3 LGBTQ advisors for your campaign and 3 drag queens in San Francisco.
So we're not going to revise the drag queen question from last week.
Stop.
But what I will
I mean, this guy is not totally insane, but he's about to go into all the gay people he knows and this, that, and the other thing, and drag queens. That is this is a big gaffe for him, by the way. He's suffering. This guy's probably not going to win, running for mayor in San Francisco, and this is one of the reasons why he's probably not going to win. This, in addition to being white and straight, and I believe the incumbent, London Breed, I believe she just might be the sacred cow of Democrats, which would be a female person of color. Bing, 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 bing. She is. She's and like that's, yeah. I'm surprised this guy even had the boldness to run. You don't do that. You don't even try anything like that, in this. So, all right. Here's the Joe Biden moment that I was telling you about. I mean, he literally is like a baby. It's in the Oval Office. You know, when they kick the cameras out and there's a little bit of yelling and, trying to get questions in. It always sounds kind of like a pet shop in the background. Listen carefully. Joe starts trying to mimic the cacophony, if you will. Go ahead. Did you hear it? One more time. He's like, I'll tell you. Go ahead. One more time. It's a real profile and courage, huh? That's what we are looking for from a president. Hey, the other thing is this. I mentioned the jurors. Can we go back and look at Donald Trump's career just for a second? He built that big building and a bunch of other buildings, but I think a Trump Tower right in the middle of Manhattan. How many prosecutors do we have in this city who would have loved to have arrested and tried Donald Trump back in the day, in the 80s, 90s, right? When he was, before president, at his zenith in terms of presence and fame and success. They love that. Prosecutors love that. They love, what do they call it? The white-collar criminal. And that's one of the reasons why Giuliani got so famous. He was busting up Wall Street. Remember? Ivan Boesky, Dennis Levine, another guy. Let's see. There was Michael Milken. These, masters of the universe who were insider information or whatever. And Giuliani and other prosecutors, aggressive prosecutors, would go in there and arrest him and send him to jail or penalties, that kind of thing. He was famous for actually going right in the middle of the workday to arrest them on the trading floor. It was something that, it was quite, help make him be the mayor. So what I'm saying is this, with all the prosecutors we have in New York, they would have loved to have caught, Donald Trump doing something wrong. And the fact that it took until after his presidency and something phony, putting in legal expenses on a legal expense, that's what they finally, this is the ultimate seal of approval. This is like the guy is so squeaky clean. He actually said, nobody is more innocent than I am. And I think there's actually truth to that. We have in this city, how many prosecutors do you think we have? You got the San Francisco district attorney, you got the St. Louis district attorney. How many do we have? We have 8. There are 8 supervising, prosecuting attorneys in this city. There is the district attorney for Staten Island, the district attorney for Manhattan, the district attorney for Bronx, district attorney for Brooklyn, district attorney for Queens. Then you have the U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of New York, which is Long Island, Queens, and Brooklyn. Then you got the Southern District guy, which is Manhattan and the Bronx, and I think Staten Island too. Then you got the state attorney general. That is 8 people, like just waiting and just wanting to pounce on anyone who will give them fame and attention. Because most of these guys they're in it for that stuff and they want to get the next office and everybody wants to be governor someday or something. So It's incredible. It is a testament to what an honest guy he is, that this is what it came to. And, you know, it's interesting also in 2020, when did the debate start? The debate started in 2019. This time around, the debate started in 2023. Remember, the Republican debate started in 2023. They arrested Trump a month before the Republican debates. They arrested him a month before the Republican debates, right? And now they convicted him a month before the presidential debate. A month before. You go back and look at how many years has it been since he came down that escalator. 9 times 12 is, what number is that, please? 9 times, it's, wow. Are you sure about that? 108 months. 108 months. And the alleged infraction took place, 208 months ago. 216 months ago. 216 months. It's even more than that. 18 years ago is, 2006 is 18 years ago. So 216 months for the Stormy Daniels thing. And then in this narrow quarter, it all comes down to that. We know it's a scam. And, it's not discouraging us, right? It better not be. It better not be. Paul, what is it?
Hey, Greg, how you doing? You said you wanted to know why Juneteenth is celebrated.
No,
right?
it was really a rhetorical question. I really don't want to know.
You're $1,000.
I don't really want to know. I wasn't really genuinely offering you $1,000. You understand that, right? You didn't fall for that, did you?
I did.
All right, Paul. Sorry. You're not getting $1,000, and I don't want to know what Juneteenth is. Everything else good?
Yeah, but you want me to do it for free? I'll give you the answer.
No, I don't want to know. I'm not going to remember. People have told me before. I don't know. Something about Texas. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to know. Sorry. Nobody wants to know. Only for political reasons they wanted to know. So I'm not going to go along with this fake holiday. All right. And if the rumor I heard about Juneteenth is true, that it took 2 years to get the word to the guys in Texas that the slaves were free, this is not something to be celebrated. This is something to be mourned, right? Why so long to tell them? So no, I don't want the details. Thanks, Paul. Let's see here. Joe, hello.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, right, if you're going to put on your big boy pants.
My big boy pants? My big boy pants? What are you talking about, big boy pants? What do you mean by that? You're trying to imply I'm some sort of a sissy that I'm hiding, that I'm what? What are you getting at with the big boy pants?
I'm going to explain to you. You do a lot for New York, for everybody, but you get paid. You make a living out of it.
You got a problem with that, buddy? No. I need dough like anybody.
You give Sandra, and I hear you yelling at a lot of women, telling them to make a
Joe,
video.
get in line. You're a dude. I'm going to tell you all. I'm very insulted by the big boy pants comment. I think you're trying to belittle me. You're somehow trying to put me down, big boy pants.
It's a joke. You're too sensitive.
Well, that's the way I'm a New Yorker. What? This is who I am. Oh, I'm sorry. I offended you. Oh, holy Jesus. I'm only kidding. What is it? What is your point?
Are you going to run for mayor? Because you can fix the city. You.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
I could, but I can't. I can't get elected. I understand that. You understand that. All right. Look, you hear the stuff I say on this radio, right? You know I'm MAGA through and through. Right? This is a city full of Trump jurors. It's not going to happen. All right. It's quite frankly not worth it for me. It's not. I would love to do it if this were an up or down vote against me and Eric Adams, right? Fair and square on election day 2025, I would run. But and I know that there's a hell of a lot more to it. There's all kinds of weirdness. And, it's not on the up and up. It's not a level playing field. I don't trust the system at this point. You saw what happened on election day in 2020. You think it's gotten better since then?
No.
Of course it hasn't. So I would run, but you mentioned I get paid. Well, the moment I become a candidate, I don't get paid. And, I do need dough like anybody. All right. I'm sorry, but I don't make, it's America. You're allowed to. I did think in the back of my mind as I was daydreaming, walking to work, you know, what if I put my mind to it? What if I really put my mind to it and I say, I want to make $1 billion in the next 20 years and then run? You know, that's not a bad thing to do. I'd be 3 years younger than Trump in 20 years. What do you think? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. So, Joe, I appreciate it. Just busting your chops a little bit. I can't do that, though. I can't. And by the way, it's almost too late. It's almost too late. And guess what? Guess what, Joe? It would become very tense around the office between me and Curtis. All right? I love the guy. But you know how he's got his heart set on this thing, right?
I know.
Yeah.
Could I say one more thing before I go?
Sure.
Please. On this June 25th coming up is an election, correct?
Oh, the primary thing?
Yeah, nobody seems to know about it.
I know. They don't even want people to know about it. That's one of their little tricks. It's the last day of school, basically. Who's thinking about politics on June 25th? I mean, it's crazy. However, you know, with very low turnout, you can do amazing things. Like you could beat AOC. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Who's that guy who was in here last week? Marty Dolan. I'm rooting for that guy. So, why? Yeah, I know. It's next week. What did you want to say about it? Then I got to go. What?
I'm from the Bronx, so I'm getting out the word. Nobody seems to know, that June 25th there's an election. So. Yeah, I know. You know who knows? The bosses. The party bosses. All right. You know, the people who run things. So, look, I had the guy on last week. You know, I mean, I can only do so much. I can't, you know, okay, go out and vote. I don't even know who the hell's running other than that guy, to be honest. I know Latimer from Westchester County. Hopefully he beats that criminal and racist Jamal Bowman. That would be a wonderful thing. So let's get out and vote on June 25th. If you can vote, if you're registered, all that stuff. If you live in these districts, oh gosh, and then the districts are crazy, right? You ever see the way they're drawn? These people are not encouraging voting. They're discouraging it. And that's another thing. That's another thing why I probably can't run for mayor. It's a shame. It's a shame. And you know, Ray Kelly though, huh? If anybody should have been mayor with the name of Kelly, it was him. I'll be right back.
Greg Kelly
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey, Justin Timberlake busted for DUI in Sag Harbor out in the Hamptons. So what happened was last night, Monday night, not really a party night, right? I guess except if you're in the Hamptons. And those people, you know, it's a playground of the super beautiful and the mega rich. That's all they do is party. It's kind of a waste of time in some respects, but, so he's out there, Justin Timberlake. I could not name one. Well, I can. Sexy Back. The sexy. I'm bringing sexy back. Yeah. He sings that song. And he used to go out with Britney Spears. Anyway, busted for DUI. I have some details here. He just came out of a hotel and got into his car. If it's in Sag Harbor, I would imagine it's a Sag Harbor hotel, which is like the, one of the hot spots, and they got a big thriving bar scene there. He got pulled over by the cops. I guess he made an illegal U-turn. And I know that street, actually. Oh, man. And it's a little bit like martial law. They overdo it with all the people out there, all the, traffic safety officers. And it's a little much, especially during the season, as they call it. So they pull him over. They smell alcohol on his breath. He refuses a breathalyzer, so they give him one of those field sobriety tests. You know, stand on one foot and touch your nose. Well, he couldn't do that. So they threw cuffs on him, and it looks like he just got out of the jail a little while ago. It reminds me of a couple of things. Number one, if you are rich enough, why wouldn't you have a car and driver, right? I mean, one of the reasons why he might be driving himself around if he's, if he doesn't want anybody to know where he's going and who he's seeing. Last time I thought of Justin Timberlake, he was spotted on a balcony in New Orleans with some very attractive girl who was not his wife, and they were holding hands. And he was in the doghouse for a while for that one.
That's, one of the things, that's, what's her name? Jessica Biel. She seems nice, but she, yeah. So what does this mean? Also, what does it mean when you're Justin Timberlake? You're rich, you're famous, you got all these things going for you, right? Yet you still want that fix from alcohol. What is that all about? Why is it when people party? I never understood this even about the World Series champs, right? They won the World Series ring. Let's drink some champagne and get drunk. Why? Why? In part because these things, these ultimate triumphs, actually don't amount to all that much. Every day is important, not the big moments, every little moment.